I have launched an Etsy ornament shop with 56 listings on day one, and I advertised all of them off the get-go. And for 7 days, this is what happened. By the way, people had their shops shut down for less listings than that. Apparently, there's a limit on how much you can open up. So if you're ever gonna open it up with 56 listings or more, do it at your own risk. The amount that I made for the past 7 days, drum roll, after 7 days, all listings being advertised, spending a whopping $31 on day one with 56 listings is a whopping 0 sales. That's right. So what went wrong? Nothing went wrong. Doing 56 listings off the get-go is a strategy. Advertising 56 listings off the get-go is a strategy for not sales, but something else. And we'll talk about what that is, because that is important to have when you're just opening up your Etsy shop. A lot of people complain like, I'm not getting any sales. It's been 7 days, I spent $31. That's not how you guys sound, but that's what goes in my mind. But so a lot of people are like, I need to get sales. I'm not getting any sales. Well, that's fine. You just open up a shop. Man, chill out. So what's the plan? What is my strategy? Well, the first thing what we're gonna do is we need to take a look at our advertisement. The reason why I like advertisement, it gives you a plethora of information. So let's jump on my computer and I'll show you what we're gonna take a look at. So here we are on our dashboard. I did it that last 7 days, 232 visits, 0 sales revenue or whatever, total views, 488. I don't get this because I definitely got more than that. The reason why I know that is because on advertisement. So we go on marketing, we're going on Etsy ads, and now, by the way, I'm going to blur out the name of the shop because I do not want to obscure the kind of progression of my shop based on YouTube views, and so I want to give you guys as best of a, hey, I started this Etsy shop without external, social media influence, so that you guys can really see how I build a shop. What's the conversion rate with a new shop? That's a lot of times people's questions like, hey, what should be my conversion rate? If we look at my other shop, for example, for the past 30 days on my other shop, when we look at 533 orders and we see 12,000 clicks, that's about 4% conversion rate, right? And that's already an established shop. That's already a shop that has reviews, that has it's not that already has a history. And so do we expect a 4% conversion on 103 clicks? No, right? And the other thing is, when the numbers are really small like that, this is still small. 103 clicks is still pretty small to assume a 4%, right? We can go 105 clicks and get the 2 sales, right? So we can't assume that applies the same conversion. And 2, we have no reviews. It's a new shop. And the other thing, one thing I did about the shop, even though we're using a UV printer, it's not a print on demand, but the photos are kind of photoshopped. I wish I could have more time on taking photos of ornaments, but we are running late on the season. So I just kind of had 3 or 4 photos and I just kind of cycled them with edits. So that's another big thing that I would imagine is going to be a little bit of a friction, but that's fine. I want to show you guys how to build an Etsy shop. Maybe not having the most perfect storefront. So what I like with advertisement is we're going to go here on manage advertising and listings, okay? What I'm going to do, so I spent $12 on this first ornament. So what I want to do is I want to click on search and I want to look at all the keywords that I've ranked on. What that's going to allow me is, hey, these keywords is where my traffic is coming from. This is where I'm getting movement. So what I'm gonna do, step 1, is identify what people are really interested, truly interested, right? I've made different kind of ornaments. We are doing acrylic and we're using a UV printer to print on acrylic. Do they want a fully printed where it's fully white and just a black lettering, or just fully solid color, or do they actually want a see-through acrylic? If they want a see-through acrylic, maybe I should add more of those and less of the fully covered paints. So what we have here is acrylic ornament, Christmas ornament, a lot of acrylic. So name ornament, we're getting on that. So ornament, Christmas personalized. Now the most clicks obviously and the highest click-through rate, and this is where we got good activities, acrylic ornament. So I would imagine they want some acrylic, some see-through. So again, I want to surround my customers. If they're responding to this design, well, hey, I'll give them more of that. So that's one design, and I'm just going to go through all these ornaments. and click on this. So for example, this one, personalized ornament for kids. All right, sweet. Kids ornaments is doing pretty well. That's my second most click. Now, however, it's not as, so it's like 30, 27, but if we go to my top click through, this one's really taken off. This one's really pushing through the roof. So I will definitely put more effort on this ornament than the kids ornament that I have. So that's going to be my first course of action, is to add more listings with considering what we see here. The second thing that I wanted to do is to have the algorithm collect information on my customers and their interaction with my listings. Because when the heat of the season comes along, guess what? I already have some information. Now, we are late. Black Friday is just around the corner, and I literally just opened that 7 days ago, so I'm kind of trying to move fast. So I do want the engagement. I don't care about orders. I want the engagements, because when there's engagement, we can then be recommended when the time comes for customers to actually make those purchases. And by the way, when we go on the dashboard and we go down, we are getting some favors. We're getting at least, one favor to two. This one on the third day, we had we had a lot of favors. People are really favoring this stuff. So this is what I want to see. This is really cool. So this is really cool. We're getting movement. We're getting activity. So when the time comes when people are ready to buy the ornaments, guess what? We have the data or we have the interaction with our shop that people will make those decisions. Now, again, the conversion rate is not going to be the best because we don't have reviews, and when people are ready to buy ornaments, I might not have enough time to get those reviews. But this is, if I were to open up a shop that is non-seasonal, the strategy would still be similar in terms of advertising all of them, just because I want those sales sooner. But I would recommend, if you are opening up a shop, whether seasonal or not, that you set aside some cash for the advertisement, because you want to launch that store. You don't want to waste your time. You need to establish yourself on the market, and the way you establish yourself on the market is to allow your customers to interact with your product, fundamentally. And if you adapt your products to those customers' interaction, more of those interactions will be a lot more in-depth, meaning customers are coming to that listing, right? They're interacting with your listing, and then they go on your shop, they bounce out. But if you change your shop based on the customers that came to the listings, then when they come to your shop as well, they're spending more time on your shop. So you're kind of adapting to that traffic, and the algorithm does notice that. All right, so the third thing what we're going to do is we're going to go back on our marketing, and we're going to disable any kind of keywords that we don't really want to be ranking on. So we go on marketing. I've already did some of that this morning, and I just remember I could do this for my video, so I kind of had to stop. So personalized snowman, that's not the one I need to be ranking on, so I'm going to turn that off because it's not snowman, it's reindeer. So just going through all of them and just disabling anything that we're not ranking or that we're not relevant on. All right, the next thing what we're going to do is we're going to go on, and I'm not going to do this on camera, but I'm going to go on my front page, and I'm going to reorganize my front page. So the way I like to organize my front page is if there's a collection of ornaments that is being more favorited. So I have 4 or 5 different directions I'm going with this. So baby's first ornament, then there's the couple's first Christmas, married couple first Christmas at this new home or whatever, and whichever. So like, for example, couples and Mr. and Mrs. First Christmas, if those are being engaged often, then I'll put more saturated of the front page with more of those. And if baby ornaments, which baby ornaments seems to be doing really well. But if it's like acrylic ornaments, then anything that's a little bit more generic might be up on top. So it's just kind of looking at what people are interacting with and let that be the front page, right? And I'm also making sure that, and this is something that a lot of people forget to do, is categorize your listings, so that somebody that comes in with baby ornaments and they see a lot of real estate ornaments, they can just look at the side and they say, hey, baby ornaments right there, and they can click on it. So when do I expect to have sales? Well, that's a good question. So if I have 4% on this store that is established and has reviews, and the photos are actually much better on that store than this one because I kind of rushed this one, I believe I could have done a better job. Maybe the better strategy would have been to slow down, do like maybe 10 listings or 5 listings, but they're really good listings. Comment on the bottom if you think that would be a better strategy. But I wanted to go with this strategy because I think this gives a better idea of what designs are being, are being interacted with, what designs might be missing in the market. And so this is a great way for me to kind of cast a wider net and then adapt to that. But I expect to see about 2 to 3 sales next week, and obviously 4 to 5 the following week and so on. It might be getting more towards the Black Friday, but I am late in the season, so I'm not expecting to be as profitable as I want it to be or as I will be the following year. So collectively, all my other Etsy shops, only 1/5 of all my traffic came from ranking, from SEO. And the other 4/5 of the traffic came from somewhere else. Where did they come from? Well, I talk about that in this video, so go ahead and check it out.